Welcome to the Shred the Spread podcast, episode 10, Recap Monday. If you're new, thanks for tuning in. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. As always, I am your host, Jared, here for Monday. We are not joined by Donnell per usual. He is here on Thursdays and Saturdays. Let me tell you guys, we had another fantastic week. I went 3-1 on my official picks. Dino went 2-1 on his official picks. And it was insane and utterly incredible how accurate I was on Thursday with my leans. If you don't follow us on TikTok, I did make a TikTok I put out, basically clips of Thursday's podcast and put the score box next to, when I was talking about my leans and stuff. And dude, I think I placed 14 bets yesterday, and I went 13-3. The official pick that I did lose, which was a bad beat, to say the least. Josh Allen threw 2 interceptions on his last 2 drives, so the Packers lost by 10, and I had the Bills minus 11 from Saturday. Did have them on a teaser, so that did not affect it. And I also put them on an alt spread minus 7. I did hit a 6-team parlay with my favorite bets, and I mean, everything was just falling in the right places yesterday. Dino also nailed a parlay, and then we basically hit 75% of our straight bets. So another killer Sunday. It only makes us look forward to next Thursday's episode. And, dig right back into the slate, find some winners. And, we love when we give out winners. We love when people DM us saying, hey, guys, you nailed the picks. I mean, it's tremendous. It makes us want to work even harder. It makes us want to dig even harder. Ultimately, a lot of this stuff, you kind of just have to be on the right side of your bet. And you guys know that. Everybody who's been sports betting long enough, you have to just be on the right side because sometimes the ball just doesn't fall your way. This weekend, the ball just kind of rolled around the hoop and then ended up falling and it didn't roll out. So we're hoping we can keep up the hot streak, especially Dynel. 2 tremendous weeks in a row. I'm back on track. We absolutely nailed the Commanders underdog. We told you guys they were going to win outright. The teaser, however, did fall. We did kill the Bills minus 5 and Commanders plus 9, but the Bears, so many opportunities to cover that plus 16. Ultimately lost by minus 20. So we're just going to have another brief episode just because I do have some things to do. But just really quickly, Thursday and Saturday, or not Saturday, just Thursday, we basically said you got to take the Ravens in the spot. Ravens won by 5. I mean, the line was back and forth all week. You saw some sharp money starting to come in on the Ravens. Ravens end up winning outright. The Buccaneers team is just in shambles. As I said on Thursday, was not an official pick, but I said I did like this lean. Broncos and Jaguars under. Are you kidding me? 21-17. Sweated out under 39.5. I think it got up to 40.5. So regardless of what you had, it covered every line. The game was ugly, dude. I mean, the Broncos pulled out that win off a deep bomb to, I believe, KJ Hamler. They got it done. Russ thinks they're back. They're absolutely not back. The defense is tremendous. Pat Surtain. And I can't remember the other guy who's playing on the opposite side of him, the nickel corner who has the cast on. Dude is amazing. I mean, he intercepted the ball, game in the line with a cast on. Give that man his props. Another strong lean I had was the Dolphins and Lions over 58 points in that game. And there was like 40 at halftime. It was insane. It was a shootout. I have a quick stat written down. Tua and Jared Goff combined for 725 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I was saying, dude, something about Ford Field, the Lions and Dolphins, those teams always have shootouts. Whoever the Lions are playing, for some reason, the Lions have a shootout. They were on the wrong side of the shootout, but ultimately covered the over. For everybody who had a bet on the Falcons and Panthers game, I had a lean on Falcons minus 4. Was not an official play, but that one, I always sprinkle my leans just to kind of keep on track of how I did with Thursday's episode. So I did have minus 4. We can thank DJ Moore for killing that. Ultimately tied the game up, but he also had that ridiculous penalty where they had to kick the extra point from like the 40-yard line. So he missed the extra point. Then they went to overtime. Mariota threw an interception. Panthers ran it damn near all the way back to like the 25 or 30, and they missed the game-winning field goal, which ultimately gave Younghoe Koo an opportunity to win the game, which he did. Vikings and Cardinals. I mean, like we said, dude, how can you take the Cardinals here? Vegas was begging you to take the plus 3.5 on the hook. Wasn't buying it. Vikings won by 8. Cardinals a couple rough turnovers. You know, Kyler was staying up late playing Call of Duty, the new one that just came out. There was no way in hell we were taking the spot with Kyler. We will move on. Not much to say there. Bears and Cowboys. Tony Pollard is better than Ezekiel Elliott. Me and Dino have both been saying that. Zeke is just an overpaid dude at this point. You see what Pollard can do. He's more explosive. He's better out of the backfield. He receives the ball tremendous. He runs off tackle well. He's not hesitant. The dude has great instincts. You know, he made that offensive line look extremely competent. And granted, the Bears were missing some key players. The Bears' defense is not bad. The Cowboys put up 49 points. You know, Dino was pretty much saying that you really can't sleep on this Bears defense, but, you know, when you have Tony Pollard out there doing Tony Pollard things, ultimately there's not much you can do. So Bears did kill that 16-point spread for the teaser. It is what it is. We're so due for a teaser. We keep missing by one leg. This was one of the probably only wrong sides that Dino was on this week, which is crazy to say. The Raiders put up 0 points, and you know we both agreed that we probably think this is a shootout. The over's kind of high. The Saints have been letting up a lot of points, but they've also been scoring a lot of points, which has been keeping these games competitive. Raiders put up 0 points. I think at halftime, Devontae Adams had like 2 yards or 4 yards or whatever it was. It was something insane. It might have been 0. I can't. It was under 10. I know that. But yeah, if you have Devontae Adams under 10 yards at halftime, I don't know if that's a depiction of the Saints defense or Derek Carr not being able to throw an accurate pass. That was ugly. Eagles, I don't know how many times we have to say it. They cover the first half. They ultimately covered the full game, but they cover the first half. I think 6-0, 7-0, whatever it is, first half. Ride it till it dies. I'll probably be on it again. We'll have to look into it a little bit more. I'm sure. I mean, anytime the Eagles are under a touchdown for the first half, I'll probably be dipping back into the juice. Patriots and Jets. We both said we love the Patriots minus 2.5, a get right spot for the Jets. I mean, the Patriots. Jets, the offense is really non-existent. I also said we like the under smacked. Patriots won. It is what it is. Titans and Texans. You know, if you watch the first half of this game, you would be like, gosh, the Titans or Texans might win this game. Turnover city. This was an ugly one. I think that we said this was a stay-away game because we really didn't know the news with Tannehill. If Tannehill was there, this game probably would have gotten ugly. Malik Willis didn't have his best game. But, nonetheless, Titans won 17-10. Giants and Seahawks. We put the Giants in our underdog round robin just because, but we both said that we like Seattle here, that the home team, it's only 3 points to short favorite. The home team generally wins this matchup with two teams playing well. So we did say we're going with the Seahawks here. The Commanders and Bills, another come from behind win for Taylor Heineke and these Commanders. I'll tell you what, the beginning of the fourth quarter, Heineke looked rough. Threw an interception. Colts took a 9-8 point lead, whatever it was. Ultimately, Taylor Heineke with his back up against the wall. You know, me and Donald talked about this. Dude, when the guy's got his back up against the wall, it seems like he plays his best football. When he has a lead or the game is tied, he seems at ease. He makes mistakes. But give this guy a trailing team, and he finds ways to win. He did it versus the Packers. He did it versus the Colts. And we'll see if he can do it again next week. But the Commanders came from behind. They won the game outright as an underdog. And, you know, we were eyeing this all week since last Monday. we said, I ended up betting the Commanders plus 4.5 because this is before the news that Matt Ryan was out. But you're telling me Matt Ryan's only worth a point, and you have a rookie quarterback back there? Give me a break. The Commanders was the freest bet of this weekend. Say what you want. Rams and Niners, I don't think anybody expected any different. For some reason, I saw a lot of money on the Rams, and I just don't know how. We've talked about this. Kyle Shanahan wins this coaching matchup so often, and it's not even close. We both said the books are wrong this week. The Rams should be like 6-point underdogs at home. The 49ers they scheme up well. Granted, they were missing Debo, but you have another gadget guy over there, Christian McCaffrey, Mr. Trifecta. He had a passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. He is going to fit in well in San Fran. I know they're happy to have him. I know Jimmy Garoppolo is happy to have him because he's got to do it all back. Mr. Dump down and make a play. He makes everybody around him better. And that leads us to Sunday night. They were the last leg for a 16 parlay that I cooked up. I did a little bit of alternate spreads. Luckily, I took Bills -7 here on the parlay. I had Bills -11 as an official pick, and that game was getting ugly. And if you guys remember on Friday or Thursday or Saturday, I can't remember which episode it was, I said this game could get really, really ugly. And it was getting ugly. I think the Bills had like a 21-point lead or a 17-point lead at one point, and they looked like they were about to run away with this game. But Josh Allen threw a pick. They got the ball back. Josh Allen threw another pick, and Aaron Rodgers went down and scored. And, the Packers were never truly out of this game, even when they were down by 2 scores. They were finding ways to get stops. Josh Allen missed a couple crucial third down passes, overthrowing Kumaro. He overthrew Diggs, overthrew Davis, and they punted or went forward and didn't get it on those drives. And I don't know, the second half, they took their foot off the gas. The Bills, the first half, looked like the greatest team in football history. The second half, looked like they were just trying not to lose. And if you do that in the NFL, you're going to give any team an opportunity you're playing against to beat you. Luckily, the Bills pulled it off. They won. They did not cover that 11 points. It is what it is. But like we were saying all week, Bills -7 alt line wasn't bad value. Bills -5 on a teaser was free. So ultimately, it was a great week. Like I said, I think I went like 13-3 on all of my picks, including my leans. I think Dino went 10-3, 10-2. The Raiders, I think, and he had the Bears. But it was another tremendous week. We're already digging in, preparing for Thursday. But before we get out of here, we do have a Sunday night or a Monday night game. Gosh. The Cincinnati Bengals are heading to Cleveland to play the Browns. And this line, Dino and I talked about it earlier this morning, and this line didn't necessarily make sense to us. The Bengals are coming off a really, really, really good win. And the Browns, they lost to 3 points to the Ravens, but the Ravens didn't play their best football, and the Browns kind of just hung in that game. So, I think we both came to the conclusion that the Bengals being a 3-point road short, like a short favorite, ultimately makes me think the Bengals are -3 at home. -6 at home. So, when we're looking at this game, we're looking at the matchups. We know Jamar Chase is out, but you still have Tyler Boyd. You still have Hayden Hurst, who's actually playing very well. You still have T. Higgins. So they still have a lot of pieces. And the Browns don't necessarily scheme up on defense well against the Bengals. They don't do well against explosive teams. And, we got to remember that the Bengals still have a solid ground game with Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon was kind of getting going last week. So, he had a receiving touchdown. He had like 58 yards on the ground, but he had a touchdown. But, this was all shadowed behind Joe Burrow's like 481 yards and 3 touchdown passes last week. Do we think that happens again? Most likely not. But you did have Tyler Boyd go for 155 last week in a touchdown. You did have T. Higgins go for 93 in a touchdown, or 93 yards last week. And you had Hayden Hurst get roughly 50. Joe Mixon probably like 30-something receiving out of the backfield. So their offense was dominant against the Falcons. And, the Falcons' defense isn't no pushover. They're not anything amazing, but they're not a pushover. And I think here tonight, Monday Night Football, you got to roll with the Bengals -3. We were talking about a total here, and it's difficult to say because you really don't know what type of Bengals scheme you're going to get. Are they going to go more run-heavy just because they are missing Jamar Chase for those quick passes? So do they add a couple more running plays? But granted, the Bengals defense hasn't been playing that amazing. So we like the Bengals -3, and I think if we had to take a lean on the total, it would definitely be the over. The over, in recent history, these primetime overs haven't been hitting as well. But like we were saying on Thursday, we think the foot of the NFL is starting to change. The favorites are starting to cover more. The totals are starting to be a little bit closer to the anticipated line. You just have to be on the right side. And, the better teams ultimately are blowing shitty teams out. I don't think the Browns are shitty, but I don't think they're on the Bengals level. So we are going to go with the Bengals -3. And we also like, if we had to choose, the over. We didn't really get much time to look at props. Like I said, we're kind of on a tight schedule right now, so I'm just trying to do our best to maintain schedule for the podcast. But as per usual, we will have our full episode breakdown on Thursday, and then we have an abbreviated episode on Saturday with all of our picks. So we've had a lot of new listeners, and unfortunately, you're not getting the full extent of the content. We usually try to do 30-minute episodes on Monday, roughly 45 on Saturday, and then an hour and a half to 2 hours on Thursday. But the content might not be extremely extent, but our picks have been spot on. So we hope you guys stay strapped in for the ride. We're just getting started. We still have about 10 weeks of football left, plus the playoffs. We've been talking about doing some depending on our schedule, we've been talking about digging into some other sports that we kind of bet on and study really closely. Check that out in the future if that is in the schedule. But ultimately, we're going to keep grinding out these football picks. Thank you guys so much for your feedback. We've gotten so much tremendous feedback. We're doing our best to put TikTok videos out just to kind of spread the word. We did just make a recent video on TikTok of our Thursday previews, and we showed our results. So our TikTok is Shred the Spread, and you can follow us on Twitter at @ShredTheSpread_. So this has been episode 10, already 10 episodes. It's been insane. We're still having fun. We still love doing this. If you enjoyed, please rate the show on whatever platform you're listening to. We are on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podcast Junkie, so much more. We're doing our best to get our podcast out there to every platform. But as always, I'm your host, Jared. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Episode 10 Recap Monday. We will be back on Thursday. Donnell and myself will be breaking down every single game. So we will see you then.